When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, and you'll be successful. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hear me. You didn't come this far just to quit. You didn't fight through the pain, the struggles, the late nights and early mornings just to give up now. If you're asking, how do I stay motivated? Let me tell you something. Motivation is not about feelings. It's about commitment. You can't wait to feel motivated. Feelings change, but commitment, discipline, that's what separates the great from the average. So today, I'm going to give you 7 keys to staying motivated. 7 keys to making sure you never give up. You have to know why you're doing this. What's driving you? If you don't have a strong reason behind your actions, you will quit when things get hard. Your why has to be bigger than the pain, bigger than the struggle. It has to be bigger than the obstacles that will come your way. Think about it. Why do you wake up every morning? Why are you chasing this dream? Why do you want success? If your reason is weak, if it's just for money or just for recognition, then when things get tough, you'll give up. But when your reason is strong, when your why is personal, nothing can stop you. Some of you say you want to be successful, but deep down, you're comfortable where you are. You want it, but you don't need it. The people who make it to the top are not the ones who simply want success. They are the ones who must succeed. There's no other option for them. They have a fire inside them that don't let them stop, that won't let them sleep, that won't let them rest until they've achieved what they set out to do. So what's your why? Maybe it's your family. Maybe you grew up struggling and you promised yourself that your kids will never experience what you went through. Maybe you've seen your parents work their whole lives and still not have enough, and you refuse to let that be your story. Maybe it's a personal goal. Maybe you've been doubted your whole life and now you're determined to prove them all wrong. Whatever it is, your why has to be so strong that it pushes you even when you feel like giving up. The truth is, life will test you. Life will throw obstacles in your way. There will be days when you're exhausted, days when nothing seems to be going right, days when you question whether it's even worth it. But when you have a strong why, you push through anyway. You remind yourself why you started. You remind yourself that you didn't come this far just to quit. Think about the greats: Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, Eric Thomas. None of them got to where they are because it was easy. They all had challenges. They all faced rejection, failure, and pain, but their why was stronger than their excuses. Jordan didn't make his high school basketball team, but did he quit? No. His why was stronger. He wanted to be the best. So he worked harder than anyone else. He trained when no one was watching. He practiced while others slept. And eventually he became one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Kobe Bryant used to wake up at 4 a.m. to train before his teammates even got out of bed. Why? Because he knew his why. He wanted to be legendary. He wasn't just playing for fun. He was chasing greatness. Elon Musk, when he was building Tesla and SpaceX, almost went bankrupt multiple times. People told him he was crazy, that his ideas wouldn't work. But his why was bigger than the criticism. He wanted to change the world, and he wasn't going to stop until he did. So I ask you again, what is your why? Because if your why is strong enough, no excuse, no setback, no failure will ever be able to stop you. The problem is, too many people give up too soon. They say they want success, but the moment they face a challenge, they quit. Why? Because their why isn't strong enough. You have to want this as bad as you want to breathe. If someone held your head underwater, what would you be thinking about? Would you be thinking about your problems? Your doubts? No. You'd be thinking about one thing: getting there. That's how bad you have to want success. That's how strong your why has to be. And here's the thing, your why has to come from within. It can't be something someone else told you to do. It can't be something you think you should do. It has to be something that burns inside of you, something that drives you every single day. So I need you to take a moment right now and think, what is your why? What is that one thing that will keep you going when the road gets tough? Write it down, say it out loud, make it real, because when you truly know your why, you'll never need motivation again. Your why will push you. Your why will drive you, and your why will make sure that no matter what happens, you never, ever give up. You can't hit a target you can't see. If you don't have a clear goal, how will you ever know if you're making progress? Too many people say they want success, but they have no idea what that actually looks like. They say, I want to be rich, but how much money do you want to make? They say, I want to be successful, but what does success mean to you? If you don't define your goal, you'll never reach it. Setting clear goals is the foundation of success. You have to be specific. If you want to lose weight, don't just say, I want to get fit. Say, I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 3 months by working out 5 days a week and eating clean. If you want to start a business, don't just say, I want to be an entrepreneur. Say, I will launch my online business within the next 6 months, and my goal is to make $5,000 in my first 3 months. The more specific you are, the more real your goal becomes. Most people fail because their goals are too vague. They think about success in general terms, and because they don't have a clear target, they don't take action. When you don't know where you're going, you get distracted easily. You lose focus. You waste time on things that don't matter. But when you have a crystal clear goal, every decision you make is based on whether it moves you closer to that goal or not. Imagine you driving somewhere you've never been before. If you don't have a destination, you'll just keep driving aimlessly, wasting time and fuel. But if you have an exact address, you put it in a GPS, and every turn, every stop, every move is intentional. That's how goal setting works. It gives you direction. It keeps you on track. But it's not enough to just set goals. You have to write them down. Studies that show that people who write down their goals are significantly more likely to achieve them than those who just think about them. When you write your goals down, they become real. They become something you can see, something you can remind yourself of every day. And don't just write them down once, review them daily. Remind yourself why you started. Keep them in front of you. Put them on your wall, your phone, your mirror, wherever you'll see them often. Because when you see your goals every day, they stay fresh in your mind. They stay at the top of your priorities. Another important step is breaking your goals down into smaller steps. A big goal can feel overwhelming, but when you break it into smaller milestones, it becomes manageable. Let's say your goal is to write a book. Instead of focusing on the entire book, set a goal to write 1 chapter a week. If your goal is to get in shape, set a goal to work out 4 times a week for the next month. Small wins create momentum. Every time you complete a step, you build confidence, and confidence fuels motivation. But here's the reality. There will be obstacles. There will be days when you feel tired, unmotivated, or discouraged. That's why you need a deadline. Without a deadline, your goal is just a wish. If you don't set a time limit, you'll keep pushing it off, making excuses, and never taking action. A deadline creates urgency. It forces you to take action now, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. You also need accountability. It's easy to break promises to yourself, but when someone else is watching, you step up. Find someone who will hold you accountable. Tell a friend, mentor, or coach about your goal. Join a group of like-minded people who are chasing similar goals. When you surround yourself with people who push you, your chances of success multiply. And finally, visualize your success. See yourself achieving your goal. Feel it. Experience it in your mind before it happens in reality. The greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders all use visualization to program their minds for success. When you visualize your goal, your brain starts working to make it happen. You begin to believe it's possible, and belief is half the battle. Most people fail not because they're not talented, not because they're not capable, but because they never set clear goals. They drift through life hoping things will work out, but hope is not a strategy. Success doesn't happen by accident, it happens by design. And that design starts with setting clear, specific, and actionable goals. Motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. Too many people rely on motivation to get things done, but motivation comes and goes. One day you feel inspired and ready to take on the world. The next day, you don't feel like doing anything. If you only work when you feel motivated, you will never reach your full potential. Success is not about how you feel in the moment. It's about what you do consistently. That's why you need a routine. Routine takes the decision-making process out of the equation. When you have a solid routine, you don't have to waste time thinking about whether or not you should do something. You just do it because it's part of your daily structure. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up every morning debating whether or not you should brush your teeth. You do it automatically because it's part of your routine. That's the same way you need to approach your goals. If you're serious about success, you need to set a daily schedule that aligns with your goals. If you want to get in shape, schedule your workouts at the same time every day. If you want to write a book, dedicate a specific time each day to writing. If you want to grow your business, block out time every day to work on it. The key is consistency. You won't always feel like doing it, but when it's part of your routine, you do it anyway. People who wait for the right moment, the right mood, or the right amount of motivation will always be stuck in the same place. The most successful people in the world don't rely on motivation. They rely on habits. They wake up early even when they're tired. They go to the gym even when they don't feel like it. They put in the work every single day, no matter what. That's the difference between winners and everyone else. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they need to do something huge every day to make progress. They think they need to work for hours and hours or make massive changes all at once. But real progress comes from small, consistent actions over time. If you commit to just 1 hour of focused work every day, that's 365 hours in a year. Imagine how much you could accomplish with that kind of discipline. Building a routine also helps eliminate distractions. When you don't have a set schedule, you leave too much room for procrastination. You tell yourself you'll get to it later, but later never comes. You get caught up in social media, watching TV, or doing things that don't move you closer to your goals. But when you have a routine, you stay focused because you know exactly what needs to be done and when. Another advantage of having a routine is that it reduces stress and decision fatigue. Every day we make hundreds of decisions, and the more decisions we have to make, the more mentally exhausted we become. That's why successful people simplify their lives. They wear the same types of clothes, eat similar meals, and follow the same daily habits. It's not because they're boring. It's because they know that conserving mental energy for the important things matters. Think about someone like Kobe Bryant. He didn't wait until he felt like practicing. He had a strict routine. He was in the gym at 4 a.m. every single day, whether he was tired, sore, or unmotivated. That's why he was one of the greatest basketball players of all time. It wasn't just talent. It was his relentless consistency. So if you're struggling to stay motivated, stop relying on motivation. Build a routine that forces you to take action even when you don't feel like it. Discipline yourself to show up every single day. Make your habits so strong that skipping a day feels unnatural. That's how you build momentum. That's how you stay on track. And remember, your routine doesn't have to be perfect. You might have off days. You might need to adjust your schedule. But as long as you stay committed to consistency, you will see results. Over time, your routine becomes your lifestyle, and that's when you truly unlock your potential. Your environment shapes your success more than you realize. Many people struggle to stay motivated, not because they lack discipline or drive, but because they surround themselves with distractions, negativity, or people who don't support their goals. If you want to stay motivated, you have to create an environment that makes success the default choice. Think about this. If you're trying to eat healthy, but your kitchen is filled with junk food, it's going to be a constant battle to resist temptation. If you're trying to focus on work, but your phone is constantly buzzing with notifications, it's going to be hard to stay productive. If you're trying to achieve a big goal, but you're surrounded by people who doubt you, it's going to drain your energy and confidence. That's why you have to be intentional about your surroundings. Start with your physical environment. If you want to be productive, make sure your workspace is clean and organized. A cluttered space leads to a cluttered mind. When your environment is chaotic, your thoughts become scattered and it's harder to concentrate. Set up a dedicated space for your work or goals, free from distractions, where you can get into the right mindset every time you enter it. Your digital environment also plays a huge role in your motivation. Social media, emails, and endless scrolling can steal hours of your time. If you constantly expose yourself to negativity online, whether it's news, toxic people, or mindless entertainment, it affects your mood and energy. Unfollow accounts that don't inspire or educate you. Limit your screen time. Use apps that block distractions when you need to focus. Make sure that when you go online, it's serving your goals, not pulling you away from them. But one of the biggest factors that determine your success is the people you surround yourself with. If you're around people who complain all the time, who make excuses, who never take action, their mindset will rub off on you. Energy is contagious. If you're around people who are constantly negative, doubting themselves, or settling for less, you'll start adopting the same habits. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with people who push themselves, who take action, who strive for more, you'll naturally be motivated to do the same. Look at your inner circle. Are the people around you supporting your goals or holding you back? Are they encouraging you to grow or keeping you comfortable? Sometimes the hardest part of success is letting go of relationships that no longer serve you. It doesn't mean you have to cut people off completely, but you need to limit your exposure to those who drain your energy and spend more time with those who inspire you. Seek out mentors, coaches, or like-minded individuals who are on the same journey. If you don't have those people in your immediate environment, find them online, join communities, attend events, or follow people who share valuable insights. The more you expose yourself to success-driven individuals, the more you'll absorb their habits, mindset, and motivation. Another way to shape your environment for success is to create systems that make it easy to stay on track. If you want to read more, keep books within reach. If you want to exercise regularly, lay out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to drink more water, keep a water bottle next to you at all times. Small adjustments like these eliminate friction and make it effortless to follow through. Music, lighting, and even the colors in your space can influence your motivation. Bright natural lighting can improve focus. Upbeat music can boost energy. Colors like blue and green promote productivity, while red can increase urgency. These small environmental tweaks may seem insignificant, but they add up and create an atmosphere that helps you perform at your best. Your habits are also part of your environment. If you always work in the same place at the same time, your brain begins to associate that space with productivity. If you always listen to a certain playlist when you study, it signals your brain that it's time to focus. Over time, these environmental triggers make motivation automatic. Most people don't struggle with motivation because they lack ambition. They struggle because their environment is working against them. They're trying to build discipline in a space that encourages distraction. They're trying to stay positive around people who complain all day. They're trying to work hard in a place that drains their energy. The key to lasting motivation isn't forcing yourself to work harder. It's making success the easy choice. When you build an environment that supports your goals, motivation becomes second nature. Your mindset is the foundation of everything you do. No matter how talented you are, how many opportunities you have, or how hard you work, if your mindset is weak, you will struggle to stay motivated. The way you think about challenges, setbacks, and even success itself determines how far you will go. If you want to stay motivated, you must develop a mindset that is built for growth, resilience, and long-term success. Most people give up too soon because they have a fixed mindset. They believe that their abilities are set in stone, that failure is a sign to stop, and that success is reserved for a select few. But successful people understand that talent alone doesn't determine success, growth does. They embrace a growth mindset, which means they see challenges as opportunities to improve rather than obstacles to stop them. When you hit a roadblock, your mindset will decide what happens next. If you see failure as proof that you're not good enough, you will quit. But if you see failure as a lesson, you will keep going. Every setback carries a lesson. If you pay attention, you can use those lessons to get better. If you get rejected from a job, that's an opportunity to improve your skills. If you fail a test, that's feedback on what you need to study more. If your business idea doesn't work out, that's a sign to adjust your approach. The only real failure is quitting. Everything else is just part of the learning process. One of the biggest mindset shifts you need to make is learning to love the process, not just the outcome. Too many people are obsessed with results. They want the success, the money, the recognition, but they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to go through the boring, repetitive steps that success requires. But if you only focus on the end goal, you will struggle to stay motivated because success takes time. If you want to stay driven, you need to fall in love with the process. The daily grind, the small improvements, the unnoticed work, that's where real progress happens. Another key to developing a strong mindset is controlling your self-talk. The way you talk to yourself determines how you perform. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, or I always fail, you will start believing it. Your mind will look for ways to prove those thoughts right. But if you change your self-talk to, I'm capable, I can figure this out, or every challenge makes me stronger, you will start acting differently. You will start looking for solutions instead of excuses. You will push through hard times instead of giving up. Visualization is another powerful mindset tool. Many of the world's top performers, from athletes to entrepreneurs, use visualization to stay motivated. They're just set goals. They picture themselves achieving them. They imagine the feeling of success, the steps they need to take, and the obstacles they will overcome. When you visualize success, your brain starts working towards making it a reality. It becomes easier to stay focused because you have a clear picture of what you're working for. Gratitude is another mindset shift that keeps you motivated. When you focus only on what you don't have, you create a mindset of lack and frustration. You start thinking, I'll be happy when I reach my goal. But that mindset makes success feel distant and exhausting. Instead, when you practice gratitude for what you already have while working toward what you want, you create positive energy that fuels motivation. Being grateful doesn't mean settling. It means appreciating how far you've come while pushing for more. Your mindset is also shaped by the people around you. If you surround yourself with negative, small-minded people, their doubts will start creeping in your thoughts. But if you're around ambitious, positive, and driven people, their energy will push you to keep going. This is why it's so important to protect your mind from negativity, whether it's from people, social media, or even your own doubts. Staying motivated is not about waiting for inspiration to strike. It's about training your mind to think in a way that fuels action. A strong mindset doesn't just keep you going when times are good. It keeps you going when everything feels difficult. When you commit to growth, embrace challenges, control your self-talk, and surround yourself with the right influences, motivation becomes a natural part of who you are. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. Many people believe motivation is what drives success, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Discipline, on the other hand, is what keeps you moving forward even when you don't feel like it. If you rely on motivation alone, you will be inconsistent. Some days you'll feel inspired and other days you won't. But discipline ensures that you take action no matter how you feel. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with discipline is that they wait until they feel like doing something. They wait for the perfect moment, the right mood, or a burst of inspiration. But successful people don't operate that way. They understand that action comes before motivation. You don't wait until you feel like working out to go to the gym. You go to the gym, and the action of moving creates motivation. You don't wait until you feel inspired to write. You start writing, and the process sparks inspiration. Action fuels motivation, not the other way around. Building discipline starts with creating strong habits. When something becomes a habit, you don't have to rely on willpower to do it. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't have to convince yourself to do it every morning because it's automatic. That's how you want to treat the habits that lead to success. If you make daily exercise a habit, you won't have to force yourself to work out. If you make reading a habit, you won't struggle to keep learning. The more you repeat an action, the less effort it takes to continue doing it. One way to build discipline is to remove unnecessary decisions. Decision fatigue is real. The more choices you have to make throughout the day, the harder it becomes to stay disciplined. That's why many successful people simplified their lives. They plan their workouts in advance so they don't have to decide whether or not to exercise. They set specific times for work so they don't have to debate when to start. They eat the same healthy meals so they don't have to constantly think about what to eat. The fewer decisions you have to make, the easier it is to stay consistent. Another key to discipline is setting clear, specific goals. Vague goals lead to vague actions. Instead of saying, I want to get in shape, define exactly what that means. How many days a week will you work out? What type of exercise will you do? When will you do it? The more specific you are, the easier it is to hold yourself accountable. A disciplined person doesn't just say they want to succeed, they create a step-by-step plan and follow through. Accountability is also a powerful tool for discipline. When you keep your goals to yourself, it's easy to make excuses. But when you have someone checking in on your progress, you're more likely to stay on track. Whether it's a mentor, a coach, or a friend, having someone to hold you accountable can make a huge difference. You can also create self-accountability by tracking your progress. Keeping a journal, using a habit tracker, or setting up daily reminders can help reinforce discipline. Discipline is also about pushing through discomfort. Growth happens outside of your comfort zone, but most people avoid discomfort at all costs. They skip workouts because they're tired, procrastinate on work because it's boring, or quit when things get hard. But disciplined people do what needs to be done no matter how they feel. They understand that temporary discomfort leads to long-term success. When you train yourself to take action despite discomfort, you build mental toughness, which makes discipline easier over time. One of the biggest enemies of discipline is instant gratification. In today's world, everything is designed for quick rewards: social media, fast food, entertainment. But success doesn't come from instant gratification. It comes from delaying rewards for something greater. If you spend hours scrolling on your phone instead of working toward your goals, you're choosing short-term pleasure over long-term success. If you constantly give in to distractions, you're training your brain to prioritize comfort over growth. Discipline is about making the harder choice now so you can reap the benefits later. Mistakes and setbacks are part of the process, but disciplined people don't let them derail their progress. Everyone has days when they mess up, skip a workout, procrastinate, or fall into bad habits. The difference is that disciplined individuals don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. They get back on track immediately. Instead of feeling guilty or making excuses, they refocus and move forward. Discipline is not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. Success is not built on occasional big efforts, but on small daily action. If you develop the habit of taking action regardless of how you feel, you won't need to rely on motivation to keep going. The ability to show up and put in the work, even when it's hard, is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. When you master discipline, success becomes... Your environment plays a crucial role in determining your motivation and success. Many people underestimate just how much their surroundings influence their behavior, mindset, and energy levels. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, distractions, or an environment that doesn't support your growth, it becomes significantly harder to stay motivated. On the other hand, when you design an environment that pushes you forward, success becomes easier because everything around you is working in your favor. One of the most important aspects of your environment is the people you surround yourself with. If you spend most of your time around people who are lazy, negative, or unmotivated, their energy will start rubbing off on you. You might not even realize it, but their words, their habits, and their mindset will slowly influence how you think and act. If they constantly complain, make excuses, or settle for less, you will start doing the same. But if you surround yourself with people who are driven, ambitious, and disciplined, their energy will elevate you. When you're around people who push themselves, you'll naturally push yourself harder. When you see others striving for greatness, it will remind you of your own potential. Your physical environment also has a direct impact on your motivation. A cluttered, disorganized space can lead to a cluttered, disorganized mind. If your workspace is messy, filled with distractions, or uncomfortable, it will be harder to focus and stay productive. That's why successful people are intentional about creating spaces that promote efficiency. A clean, organized workspace makes it easier to concentrate. Having visual reminders of your goals, such as a vision board, motivational quotes, or progress trackers, can reinforce your focus and keep you motivated. The fewer distractions in your environment, the easier it is to stay disciplined. Your daily routines and habits are also part of your environment. If you wake up and immediately scroll through social media, your mind starts the day in a reactive state rather than a proactive one. If you spend too much time on entertainment rather than self-improvement, your motivation will decrease. But if you build a morning routine that sets the tone for success, whether that includes exercise, reading, meditation, or goal setting, you start the day with momentum. When you create habits that align with your goals, motivation follows naturally. Technology is another factor that can either help or hurt your motivation. Social media, streaming services, and endless notifications can become major distractions. If your phone is always buzzing with messages, emails, and updates, it's easy to lose focus and waste time. One way to create a better environment for motivation is by controlling your digital space. Turning off unnecessary notifications, setting screen time limits, and using apps that block distractions can help you stay on track. At the same time, technology can be a powerful tool for motivation if used correctly. Listening to inspiring podcasts, watching educational videos, or following mentors online can keep you motivated and focused. Your diet, sleep, and physical health also play a crucial role in your motivation levels. If you are constantly eating unhealthy food, feeling sluggish, or not getting enough sleep, your energy levels will drop, making it harder to stay motivated. On the other hand, when you take care of your body, by eating nutritious foods, staying hydrated, exercising, getting proper rest, you naturally have more energy and focus. Motivation isn't just about mindset, it's also about making sure your body is in peak condition to support your goals. The activities you engage in outside of your work or goals also impact your motivation. If you constantly consume negative news, engage in toxic conversations, or spend time in environments that drain your energy, it will be harder to stay motivated. But if you engage in activities that recharge and inspire you, such as reading, spending time in nature, practicing gratitude, or pursuing hobbies, you will maintain a positive mindset. The more you surround yourself with uplifting and growth-oriented experiences, the more motivated you will be. One of the most powerful ways to use your environment for motivation is by setting up small rewards for progress. When you associate positive experiences with completing tasks, you create a system where your environment encourages action. This doesn't mean relying on external rewards for motivation, but rather using them as a tool to reinforce habits. If you complete a difficult task, rewarding yourself with a short break, a favorite snack, or time doing something you enjoy can make the process more enjoyable. Accountability is another environmental factor that can keep you on track. When you have people who hold you accountable, whether it's a mentor, coach, or a supportive community, you are less likely to slack off. Being part of a group that encourages progress can keep you motivated, especially during tough times. Whether it's joining a mastermind group, finding an accountability partner, or participating in a challenge, surrounding yourself with people who expect excellence from you will push you to stay committed. Your environment is a reflection of your goals and priorities. If you take control of it, you take control of your motivation. Making intentional changes, whether it's upgrading the people you spend time with, optimizing your workspace, controlling distractions, or prioritizing health, can transform the way you stay motivated. At the end of the day, motivation isn't just about willpower, it's about setting yourself up for success by shaping your environment in a way that supports your goals. When you surround yourself with driven, positive individuals, create a workspace free from distractions, build habits that align with your ambitions, and take care of your physical and mental well-being, motivation becomes a natural byproduct of your lifestyle. Success isn't achieved through occasional bursts of inspiration, but through consistent action in the right environment. Every choice you make, who you spend time with, what you consume, how you organize your space, and how you manage your time, either moves you closer to your goals or further away. If you want to stay motivated, take control of your environment, eliminate distractions, and surround yourself with the right influences. When everything around you is aligned with your vision, you won't have to rely on fleeting bursts of motivation. Instead, you'll wake up every day with a clear sense of purpose, ready to take action and move forward.